my freaky darlings. What the hell are... What are my headphones set to? Oof. Alright. Excuse me. Alright. Hello now here. Hello, Jasmine. We are doing... Sorry, I just ate some schnitzel, which is delicious, but the breading got caught in my throat apparently because I was eating it fast. Alright. We are doing the last cube escape that I need to do for my re-records to get the good footage are Let's Play and Lore Talk, as I've been calling it. So from this point, this is the last small game, is the best way to put it. From here, it's big guys. So we've got Paradox, Roots, all that jazz. Pocket Cow! Hello! How's it going? Alright, so... I'll try calling him, but he might be... I think he was getting some water last time I checked, so he might be a bit before he joins us. Yep. I have a cat who comes when he's called. Percival? Hi, sweet baby. Come on up. Everybody wants to see you. I know. Hi. Hi, my sweet baby. I know. It's so good to see you. Did you have a good water? You coming up? Yeah? Do you want a boost? There's my sweet baby. Yeah. All right. You gonna stay on my desk or are you gonna go on your bed spot? It's up to you, baby. Alright, guess I'm looking around a Percival tale for a moment. Oh no, he's gonna sit at his desk spot. He's like slightly too big to fit on my desk, so he doesn't usually stay on my desk very long. Because it's not super comfortable for him, but he likes to stay like as long as he can, basically. Alright. Are we getting game sounds? There might just not be any sounds for the menu, I can't remember right now. Squishes. Yeah, he's pretty big. There we go. Okay, we're getting sound now. The menu was just quiet. But because it's a windowed game, every time I click off to adjust the sound, it turns back off, so I can't adjust it very easily. Because it's an older school game that way. Alright, let's reset the lake. And the achievements, because we want to try and get them all. That way I can get footage of all of it. Yeah? Do you think so, baby? Alright. Are you coming back over here for a minute? I found an abandoned cabin at Rusty Lake. Phew. I have cat hair in my mouth for some reason. I wonder how that happened. How'd that happen, Bean? Oh. He's purring. I might adjust my camera for a sec so you guys can actually see him. Yeah, unfortunately he's just slightly too short for me to actually get him in frame. Alright. What do you think, Bean? Yeah? Alright, so I'm kind of looking at the game through a cat head right now. So I actually have to look at my other screen if I want to see everything. Hello, Flex. You're not late. We literally just started. Alright. Trying and get a good clean shot of all of the different angles here. On the roof. Bug. No problem, Pocket Cow. Papier. The past is never dead. It's not even past. Fair enough, Flex. This one is, not a very long game, so I don't imagine this will be a long going. It only just occurred to me that I should be setting up these streams so that I can... one second, I'm getting a call that I have to take. Yeah, Bean was calling me. Yeah, everything's good. I just needed to take that really quick. But Percival followed me out to take my phone call, so... And now he's coming back in. Yes, hi, baby. Okay. No, as I was saying, it just occurred to me now that I should have been setting up all of these lore talk and let's plays to record my sound separately so that I could have footage of the game including sound in case I need it for videos. I don't know how that didn't occur to me till just now, so whoops. I'll have to quickly re-record them by myself with sound, and then for the future games I'll Flawed Peacock? I don't think so. At least I don't recognize that as the name of someone I have read. Don't you love when mold is just in a easily like accessible little pile of floof? So what's interesting about this cabin is, or excuse me, this lake, I guess, is when I haven't played it for a long time, my assumption was that this is like part of the mental health and fishing. But this is an abandoned... What are you playing with, Bean? Oh, I see. 1 second, I have to put Bean's feather up. He has a door feather that hangs. I know, I'm sorry, I forgot to put it up. There you go. Alright. Oh, you guys could hear him? Anyway, this cabin is abandoned, so it's not like part of the mental health and fishing facility, which is what I could kind of... Ooh, hi there. Just peeking, huh? Which is kind of what in the back of my head I thought it was for a little while. Because, like, I played this one early in my my journey of playing, and then I didn't go back and replay it for a while. So for a bit there, I was thinking, oh, this was part of the mental health and mental health and fishing facility. Like, this was sort of an off the area. But it's not. She just was chilling around the lake, and she's like, oh hey, an abandoned cabin. Yes, I do think that it is in use. But my point is more that she calls it abandoned. So I simply mean that either way, if she went to mental health and fishing, which it says she did, I don't know if she was at the hotel specifically or if she was at a different... Presumably she went to the hotel, because she won that contest and then went to the lake. But Mr. Owl didn't specifically be like, hey, there's a cabin that's part of our facilities, go use it, because she called it abandoned, so she was just exploring in her free time and then found it, I guess. However, this is pretty early in the storytelling, so that may be somewhat tweaked. Hello, shrimp. With mold, we catch a shell. Alright. Oh, yeah, I need to be making sure that I'm not spending too many items until I can... Good. Yeah, it moved to the shore rather than like an island. But, oops. I guess the question is whether the fact, like, it being part of the facilities officially, like, whether Lauren knew that it was part of the facilities or not, is either she didn't know or that's kind of been tweaked or retconned. But kind of as it's stated, it implies she didn't know it was part of the facilities. The worm we can use because it'll get us another item. I'm trying to make sure I don't use items that won't get us at least one more item, so that we can fill up our inventory. Can't use the fish yet, because that stays on the ground. What gives us the body? Probably not this, because we don't pick up the body either. Drat. Hello. Hello, sir. I'm sure it's fine. Well, this we can pick back up, so... Excuse me. Okay, well, knife. Quiet you. Hello again. Now this is basically the exact scene that we see Laura in a lot, associated with her death. So the question of where exactly Laura died, like, I would think that she died at that house, at her house. Whether that house is her house in whatever city she and Bob lived in, or whether it's somewhere that she's living closer to the lake. It can't be at the lake, because Dale didn't know about the lake, unless that's part of the lake's magic to just sort of obscure itself, like, give like a mental fuzz kind of thing. My instinct wants to say, like, hey, she must have died at her house. That's where her body was found. That's where she is in the scenes, in seasons, in her, like, kind of memories of it happening. But there's undeniably a lot of imagery of her specifically dying at the lake, in the lake. So it's possible, although I currently hold it unlikely unless something changes, that she did die at the lake and her body was transported so that Dale would find it, the same way it was transported away so that they could have it back for the machine. That's not the explanation I would hold to at the moment, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if that is what it turned out to be, because Percival! You gonna keep playing with your feather? Can you come here for a pet for a second? I'll take that. And then one more. Take that. I don't think I get anything else out of this. Yeah. Cheers. Right now, I hold that the imagery of her dying at the lake is that it's the lake that did it in a lot of it's the lake that did it in a lot of ways. That that it was her final visit to the lake and being around the lake that, like obviously she had poor mental health before that. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Paradox. The scene in Seasons was about corruption more. Yeah. Yeah, temporary corruption. Yeah. I wouldn't blame anybody who kind of talks about it, but I also... How do I get more items without losing items? I put the fish down, the fish stays down. I hope I didn't accidentally screw up that possible achievement. Yeah, I would say that she was already depressed and but got worse after her visit to, the lake. So, it's sort of she became corrupted, her finalized corruption at the lake, she became depressed at the lake. I think that is kind of where that corruption entered her body, was when she went to the lake. That sort of flash corruption that some of the characters get, like Bob. Alright. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to put the fish down. Yeah, I think I got all the magnet stuff. The key, the 2 boxes. I don't think either of the boxes has more than 1 item in it. Oh, 6 times 2, 37. Hold on, I need a calculator because I can't math. 6. Oh, the boxes stay. Oh, wow. It's been a long time since I played this game. 237. 1422. 1, 2, 4, 2, 2. Thank you. I have the box back. Do I keep the box? Oh, I do keep the box. Good, 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 good. I believe that's my achievement now. Oh, no, not quite yet. I need 1 more item. Which, remember the seasons. We get this from Seasons, which I have already recorded, so we will not worry about going and grabbing it. Alright, the code from, and we get this code from the television in Seasons. We get to see this code like flash. And it is 2, 5, oh, this can't be it. 25641. Alright, well, clearly I'm looking at a different code here. Seasons. Oh, here it is. 1487. What's that other code from then? Son of a bitch. Yes, I did 100% collection. This is just part of my... When I was first 100%ing all the games, my footage was very bad. Oh, I get the code for the TV from... That's the code that I had written down there. When I had first gotten all the footage for 100% my collection, the Cube Escape collection, my footage was very bad, and it's making it hard for the videos that I'm making. So as sort of part of my quest to get good footage and then also sort of discuss the lore implications of all the games, this is the last one I need for that lore talk and alright, so now we can actually do the thing. Alright, so diamond on top, apple, shell, coin, eye. So this is one of the things that I don't have a lot of meaning from. Like, obviously the trees are very strong symbolism in this game. So doing something from a tree that makes sense, like casting the sort of magic from the tree. These items in particular, though, it could be that they mean a lot, Or it could mean that they mean nothing. I would imagine that they meant at least a little bit of something at first, but I don't know if that's stayed true as their stories evolved. Coin. I shall I don't even remember which gem I got from which now. Okay, good. What do you put over we have neither a name or even proof of the third brother's existence? Yeah, it's hard to have a picture of an absence of something, huh? Hi! Oh, apparently I did the good ending first. Oops. Oops. Okay, we'll have to do the whole thing again very quickly. What's the color of the gem I just did? Did I do green or did I do... I mean, we had circumstantial evidence of a third sibling. We didn't- well, yes, we restarted, but it's more that we finished, and there's 2 endings. This game is very short. It's definitely the shortest of all of them. This isn't the first one, is it? I'd have to look when they came out. I'm actually not super... up on my meta-knowledge of it. Mold. Yeah. Alexandra being a separate topic. As far as I'm concerned, Alexandra is almost certainly the third sibling, but there's no, like, we'll find out. And if Alexandra is the third sibling, then there's no reason there would be a third brother at this point. We knew there was we had circumstantial evidence of a third sibling simply because William was for sure not James's dad, and Aldous never acted or referred to himself as James's dad. So it seemed like there was probably a different person, a different sibling who was James's parent. And for some reason, a lot of us, me included, referred to that mystery parent as a third brother, even though we had no reason to think that they were a brother over a sister. We just knew there was probably a third sibling. We didn't know whom. I made myself for the video mystery third sibling. I took the picture of, I think I did William and not Aldous, and like completely blotted out the face and changed the color of the shirt, and put like a question mark over their face and then put question mark Vanderboom. Is what I believe I did. Oh man, now I have to do the maths again. Oh, I still have it up. 1, 4, 2, 2. Okay, this is clearly green is the one I did last time. Yeah, I know, baby. I heard. Yep, we'll get your lunch in just a second. Alright, green was the cube ending, right? Is the one I did? I'm pretty sure green's the one we've already done. I'll double check before I have to do it all over again. Purely statistically, a brother would be more probable. Hypothetically, there's still another sibling out of the blue. Okay, blue's the one I haven't done yet. Okay, yes. Why would a brother be more probable? I'm just curious. I might be missing what you're saying there. Hi again. I died. Okay, I will be right back because that alarm that went off is my cat's lunch alarm. That's why he's yelling at me right now. So I have to go feed him lunch. I will be just a minute. Okay, back. Sorry about that. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. Yeah. That is, you're right. I think that's a big part of why most of us assumed brother. That's absolutely true. I think it would be more... Yeah, so to that point, there could still be, as you say, another sibling, but the odds of there being, it would be weird for them to to do the same trick twice, as it were. Plus, I think that it's more common. It's more common repeated. So, like, once it's in a family, I think it's more likely to be in that family more than once. Like, we already have the evidence that in this family they have the willingness to... It depends on how you want to take what happens with Emma. If you're of the opinion that what happened to Emma was literal, like that she was immaculately conceived of, I guess I should say, because she wasn't immaculate conception, her son was. If she had Frank via magic, then having children via magic is something that runs in the family, and that could be what James is. If you're of the opinion that that scene is not literal. Yes. But because we do for sure know how Rose and Laura are, like, I think it's pretty unlikely that they've successfully done that ritual before. Or anything similar to that ritual. So certainly James can't be a repeat of what happened with Rose and Laura. He could be a repeat of what happened with Emma and Frank. No matter which way you interpret what happened with Emma and Frank, if you're someone who's of the camp that with Emma and Frank... Oh, my fucking window. Oh, I gotta close that curtain. Well, what we just finished was the lake. So, we got distracted talking about, the Alexandra thing. I do want to try and see if there's, like, is the lake... Is there anything worth discussing in the lake? I guess is the long and short of it, right? Because it's... certainly the shortest. Like, by a country mile. The items in this... Rose is a more down-to-earth case. Shouldn't have any biological parents present. Do you mean Rose herself? Like how she was scientifically conceived? Without... Yeah. The Lake's most interesting topics are certainly... I mean, are outside the lake. The biggest things to even try and analyze... Rose could have been parented by anyone. Not sure what you mean by that. We know her parents, right? It's Albert and through an unwilling donation, Ida. Do you mean like just raised, as opposed to how like her actual biological parenting? She was raised by Albert, more or less. I'm gonna double check. What the order of release of... I actually don't know this, because I just don't know a lot of meta tile. The meta knowledge of this series. Okay, so it is Seasons and then the Lake. So this is the second. Seasons is the first. And it's significantly bigger than the Lake. But, being the first, they had more time to, like... Yeah, but we do know who raised Rose. We see that she grew up in the Vanderboom house. Center Lake changed the location of the cabin again. This time there are trees between it and the lake. Yeah. I would say there being trees or not is not... Like, they kind of did. But I'd have to look at the map again to see, like, trees can and do just be cut down. So, there not being trees later in the season, later in the series timeline doesn't necessarily mean anything. And the rest of the games that we see the Vanderboom house is later in the timeline. The only time we see... Yeah, like I said, it's entirely probable that they did actually change the location. I would have to see how the... I'd have to look at both of them next to each other a little better. So Lake is right after... They could find a donor ship or a magic flower. Because I'm somebody who's in the camp of The magic flower might not be literal. The magic flower is just symbolic of, you know, other symbolism that we use flowering or deflowering or planting a seed. That it was just sort of a nameless guy who's not important. That just didn't stay in the picture. That maybe even doesn't know or ran away, or does know and ran away and refused to take whatever. I don't think that there's any solid evidence of it one way or another. It could just literally be a magic flower. Clearly magic is in this world. There's no question of that. So it could just be magic. No, I'm just trying to look at, basically, as far as things that you even could, if you wanted to, try and analyze in this game. This ritual here is kind of the only thing that even happens in this game. So, like, to that end of attempting to look at the older games with a critical eye, like, what the hell is even happening in this game? Like, this is the only game where the events seem so disconnected from anything. Like, it's just... Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not about anything yet. I don't think it meant anything when they wrote it. I for sure believe that. The question is whether... The question isn't necessarily do we think it meant something when they wrote it. The question is, do we think they kept it part of the story at all as they wrote story forward? Because this is so early in the franchise, yeah, I think that it didn't necessarily mean anything bigger when they wrote it. But in their sort of planning forward, like, a lot of these items do continue to mean things forward. Is it that they have... Yeah, exactly. Like, are we talking about these are substances of the past lives? That is a perfect example of, like, how they could be continuing the themes, at least, of this game, and kind of carrying forward the two stories that they write in more detail from this point forward, right? We've seen the shell plenty after this. The apple, the coin, and the eye, not so much. Like, that's not to say that we don't see eyes or coins. We do, but not kind of in this way. Are both a canon and a timeline split way, or true ending? I wish with every part of my being that I could say there's only the one true ending. But I have to kind of accept that the series... Like, I think that the true ending is the canon ending of our timeline. Like, the timeline that we're following. So, I think it's basically saying the same thing. That is the one that matters. But I think if they were to take... I think when push comes to shove, if they took an official stance, they would say split timeline thing. Because that's clearly part of their universe. I just think that it's kind of splitting hairs, because if you're saying that in some alternate reality somewhere, this bad ending happened, but you never explore that alternate reality, it never comes back, it's not relevant, then it's not really any different from saying... There hasn't been in the games, but I think that is kind of the stance... I think that they're sort of treating it as a sort of multiverse theory, but they're only following one universe anyway. So, push comes to shove, it's kind of splitting hairs, because if you're only following one universe, it doesn't matter that the other universes exist. I think officially they do exist. I think that is part of the story they're weaving. I just don't think it really affects the story that much. Is kind of where I'm at. I think that they like the idea, they want it to be part of the universe, they want that it exists, but it doesn't really affect it. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's a harsh way to word it, but it's... But I don't think it matters, but I think it is technically there in their story, in their storytelling. Theorists argue that the blue gem is canon, and that Laura was saved by Harvey's fireflies. That this is taking place at the same time as Harvey's box. I could see it as a sort of retcon to what happens in the lake, because the thing is, otherwise what we're saying is that after this happened, Laura came back with Harvey and got attacked again by another shadow. Yes, I for sure think that the original intent of Harvey's box was that, like, boy, things look spooky and mysterious from the point of view of an animal. But I think that in retrospect, retroactively, it's part of the spookier story. I think that the way when they originally made it, it's just meant to be, like, spooky from the point of view of an animal. But I think that that's no longer the case now that they're trying to tell a bigger story. So I think, like, yeah, the Firefly, like, all that's canon now. But for sure I think that the original, like, when they first made it, that it was definitely just about, you look like a spooky monster when you're reaching in after your bird. But, like, clearly this looks very different from the events of Harvey's box. Like, if we're saying that this is a separate event, what that means is Laura comes to the cabin, does some fishing, like finds an abandoned lake, does some fishing. While she's fishing, she finds a spooky ghost monster. It attacks her. She uses a tree ritual to save herself or not. And then she left, got Harvey, came back to the cabin that she got attacked at. And got attacked again by another spooky ghost. And so even though, like, even though this is, like, there's definitely details missing, we don't see Harvey's box, there's no fireflies, I could certainly see, like, making this into one event is kind of cleaner. Because otherwise, she just keeps coming back to this cabin where she's attacked by ghosts. Like, stop coming back to this ghost cabin, Laura. It's clearly not a good place. Yeah, I guess she didn't want to put Harvey back in the box after he saved her, so she let him ride on her shoulder back to wherever it is she was going. Unclear. And that's the thing about using old games that are made. You think it's the green gem that's canon because of the cave. Because we find the green gem? Canon. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. The green gem center. Yeah. I mean, what's the color of the gem in the statue? Is it a green gem? In the weird rotating statue's mouth in the chapel part of 23? Thanks, Jessamine. Do we think that's the same gem? We did 23 already, right? Yes. The green gems are the same design, together with Laura's photo. The redesigned was used in Roots and in a redesigned version was used in Roots and in Paradise. Okay, yeah. Okay. And I mean, that's kind of the consensus of, like, when we're talking about games that were made in the series before they probably had much of a bigger picture plan, you have to take those. The newest games are the most true from the point of view of the overarching story, because it means it is their most recent frame of mind of the story. And the farther back you go, so if two games ever completely contradict each other, I'm of the opinion it's the newer games that take precedence, unless of course the devs come out and be like, yo, it was a mistake. Like, the older games, we just made a mistake on it. I don't always like that, let me be super clear. I'm not happy about it sometimes. Not necessarily with this series, but like its series in general. But push comes to shove, the newest games are where the devs' heads are at. At least currently, actively. So these older games are the rougher entries as far as analyzing for details. But I still think that there's a lot of, like, and maybe there's some bias because I find myself thinking about, like, this is the kind of thing I've always wanted to do. Like, create a weird mystery story that's told through these little bits and chunks of, like, smaller games. And I personally would make sure to, like, take into account the older things I've done, even if my mind's kind of shifted in a better direction. I still want to incorporate older concepts, even if I'm using them in a different way than I originally thought I was going to be using them. But, you know, I didn't make these games. Like, we don't know where they're, we don't know whether, like, where their head's at, what ideas have survived, what ideas have been changed, what ideas have... We tend to shoehorn new games into older canon. Playing their old games, they were just it's just stories, and they were just barely connected. Yeah. This game is about Laura winning the contest. Did she visit the hotel or just the cabin? Presumably it's the building in this room, cause she calls this place abandoned. Maybe it's because of where I live. I always assumed that this one really was this small, because these tiny little, like, fishing shacks that are, like, there are abandoned fishing shacks like this where I live fucking everywhere. And it's just a place to, like, gather and have some shelter while you fish. But if it starts becoming, like, less common, or people are fishing more at their actual house, they will become, like, old and decrepit and abandoned. So I just always thought of this as one of those little fishing shelters, where nobody lived. But it could be something bigger than this, because certainly most of the buildings we see clearly have more to them than what we get to see. I would say she must have visited the hotel simply because, like, she didn't win a contest to go to an abandoned cabin, right? Like, yeah, exactly. There's no way that, like, she didn't win a contest to come to a lake facility of nothing. I would have to assume she went to the hotel. If she went somewhere else, then, like, we don't have any evidence or reference points of that somewhere else, so, like, yeah, I guess we could just take a left field guess that there's some other random facility. Like, yeah, exactly, like, maybe she went and lived in that castle, but that seems pretty unlikely that Mr. Owl had 2 different mental health facilities running on this lake. It's way cleaner. Occam's razor. Probably Mr. Owl brought her to... Yeah, exactly, like, he could have, like, the Vanderboom house, the Vanderbooms were no longer living there. So, maybe. It does feel cleaner that she... Yeah, she visited this cabin that's 5 minutes from her mom's childhood. Like, girl doesn't even know she's, like, a stone's throw from where she was magically conceived underneath a lake ritual. Or maybe she does. Like, I'm of the opinion she doesn't know of her history to the lake, but maybe she came here because she was like, hey, my mom said she grew up on this lake. So it's calling to me, like, that's why I wanted to go to this facility. I would doubt it, but it's certainly something they could add without it actually technically retconning anything, because we don't know that she doesn't know. I would assume she doesn't. And I would agree, like, there's certainly no proof, there's no, like, definitive answer. Like, there are some opinions of mine that I'm like, I feel very strongly that these 2 events are connected. I feel like this is connected to the Harvey's Bach incident, but I don't feel very strongly about it. I assume they're connected simply because it becomes almost silly from a storytelling perspective that she keeps coming back to this haunted abandoned cabin where she's attacked by spooky ghost things. Or it's cleaner to that that's a one-time event as opposed to a continuously multi-timed event. But it's not like my opinion on that in Roots, where Emma looks through the telescope and sees the light and then Harvey comes to see her. My opinion is that date is a mistake and it happens at the same time as the Harvey transformation in the hidden scene in Birthday. I feel much stronger about that than the Harvey's Box thing, because that doesn't really mean anything. The Twin Peaks Pacific Northwest feeling. I have never seen Twin Peaks. I have been trying to get a hold of it. I thought about, because I think I finally found a place to watch it, I thought about doing like a watch party which is where people will, like, obviously I can't stream Twin Peaks, but people can watch it at the same time and just sort of discuss it while they're watching it. But I realize it's much harder to do. Like, if I did a watch party with something on, like, Netflix, I can be like, hey, everybody go to Netflix, here you go. But it's hard for me to be like, hey, everybody have a watch party with me. I don't know how you can watch the show, because I couldn't find it. I had to try and find a place to buy it on DVD somewhere. Because it ain't on here. It's none of the streaming services in Canada, at least, have it. Which is very frustrating. But it's my goal to finally actually see I have been trying to see that series for years. But it's my goal to actually see that series this year. Loras Lake trip is so confusing, with so much new information that its most obvious assumptions of the times are now debatable, if not outright wrong. Yes, yeah. For sure. And it's exactly to the point of, like, since this is one of their earliest things they visited, their ideas and events and timelines were not set in stone yet, which makes the fact that that we only have these early game moments from it kind of nebulous. Should be on Y Movies? Never even heard of this site. Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. Get out of here. For God's sakes. It's all like goddamn pop-ups on this site. Okay, well, I can't fucking even open the damn thing. Alright, well. I'll see if I can get that to work, but right now it's definitely not cooperating. Alright. They have 2 websites? Okay, I'll see if I can find it. Well, it's definitely a shorter stream. Simply because it's a much shorter game. The dead body in this game being a water corpse. Ah. Yeah, see, again, I don't know anything about Twin Peaks. I don't want to know anything about it because I'm hoping to finally watch it. I will see. I don't know if other people have a way to watch it. I'll see if people are interested in a watch party, in which basically it would just be like chatting like this while we would put on the show, and basically how it works, because I've done a couple of watch parties with some people on Twitch at this point, is we would like count down and start at the same time so that we could chat. But because it's so hard to get, so we can talk about it as we go, but because it's so hard to get a hold of, it's kind of weird and hard for me to do a watch party. I mean, even if I'm only doing it with like 3 people, that's fine. But if nobody has it, then I'll just watch it by myself and talk about it on the Discord. We do also have to decide, next Thursday, we're going to be doing, here, I'm just gonna, because I'm gonna be clicking out of the game a lot now. I'll put on my Rusty Lake playlist on my music thing so I can click out of the game without it shutting off all the time. Alright. We have done, officially, all of the Cube Escape games for my Lore Talk and Let's Play, where I re-get the footage and we specifically try and talk about that game, but obviously other games will come up. Do we have a preference on which one we do next? We could do Paradox. Am I doing anything for Laketober? I'm hoping so, because I love doing art stuff. Like, I've made these guys. I would really like to. I'm gonna definitely try. I wanted to last year, but last year was pretty rough around October, but I think I'm gonna try and push it this year. I'm thinking maybe Paradox would be the next one that makes sense to do, but we could either do Paradox, Hotel, Paradise, or Roots. It's just sort of a unified art theme. So, like last year, they were like, okay, week 1, we do Cube is the theme. Everybody make an art about Cube, or about bee, or butterfly. So we'll see what we can do. Roots? When do they announce the list for Laketober usually? Roots just had its anniversary? That's a good point. That would be a good one to do for that reason. The beginning of October. I'll be right back. I have to check on my cat. a good night, Nowhere. We'll probably call it soon anyway, since we're finished, the game that we're doing. They're sewing a costume for Elizabeth. Oh no! That sucks. Well, YouTubers where you'll watch the video. No problem, Efad. We're wrapping up anyhow. Let's call it here. And we will pick up next week with one of the other games. We'll have to do one of the bigger ones now, because we're officially done all the small ones. So we'll be doing Paradox or Roots or Hotel or Paradise. Yeah, there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to to the lake, unfortunately. But I still wanted to get the footage and do our due diligence. Paradise or Roots? Yeah. We'll do Roots, I think. Seems to be the consensus. It's certainly... It might be my favorite. So I will see you guys next Thursday. Have a good night!